Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Here at Fields and Brown Barbershop, legacy means a lot. We're trying to fill big shoes left by my two uncles and my grandfather, where every haircut came with conversation and every customer left a little taller than when they walked in. The barbershop is about pride. It's about knowing your barber knows your name and your story. Come see us at Fields and Brown Barbershop, where tradition never goes out of style. 3 generations, 1 legacy, your barbershop.
Financial advisor Scott Beasley knows time spent with family is everything. As a founder of Beasley Wealth Management, his mission is to give clients the freedom to enjoy time with family without the burden of financial concerns. A local of Lawrenceburg, Scott deeply values building relationships with clients, ensuring they make informed decisions concerning asset management, tax planning, and retirement planning. Offering a free initial consultation, Beasley Wealth Management helps clients pursue their aspirations with confidence. A local law firm respected throughout the state. Generations of clients have turned to Boston, Holt, and Durham since 1948. We assist individuals and businesses with their legal needs, including real estate, property closings, personal injury, employment discrimination, and family law. Our clients get the personal attention and convenience of a hometown law firm with the resources and ability to handle any case. Come see us at Boston, Holt, and Durham.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody in here to the X Sports Network, here for the Mark My Words, the X Sports Network College Sports Show. And actually, that's not necessarily the most true statement anymore. We've switched things up a little bit. And listen, folks, as much local sports is going on around here, I think it's only fair that we jump in with some local sports as well. So that's what we'll jump the show off with. We'll get to the college sports in our next segment because we've got a ton of great college basketball that we had the last weekend. We had college baseball opening weekend. We had some great college softball, some women's college basketball. So we'll jump right into it with some local sports. Hey, we had 3 local middle school teams here participating in the state tournament over the weekend. You had the Summertown Middle School team went up there on Friday, got a win against Hampton Elementary, 62-43, and then fell, unfortunately, Saturday morning to a very good Bolivar Middle School team, 62-56. An insane score for a middle school game. I mean, that is a ton of points because, you know, high school games, 8-minute quarters, those are only 6 minutes. You had quite literally 24 in-game minutes to put up well over, almost over 120 points. It's just insane. The E.O. Kaufman Middle School team from up here in Lawrenceburg was up there as well. And on Friday, they got a win against Dyersburg Middle, 30-28, to send them to the state championship game on Saturday afternoon, where they unfortunately lost to a very talented Gatlinburg-Pittman team, 25-18. A very defensive game that one was, and we knew E.O. Kaufman girls defensively were going to be really good. Offense just wasn't able to make up there, and gotten a pretty big deficit there in the first half. And speaking of first half deficits, the South Lawrence Middle School girls got down 36-21 late in the third of their Friday afternoon game against Rush Strong Middle, and were able to come back and finish the game on a 31-8 run in the last. And that was with, 2 minutes to go in the third that they were down by that much. I mean, that's 8 minutes of a game that they outscored a team 31-8. Just incredible. Got the win against Rush Strong there, 52-44, and it would be no easier in the state championship game the next morning against Lake Road Middle, and won 40-38, their second state championship in school history, their first since 2021, and that was when the state tournament was a lot larger. So with the 4-team tournament format, congratulations to all 3 of these teams. Summertown, state runner-up, E.O. Kaufman, state runner-up, and South Lawrence, the state champion for Class 1A in middle school girls basketball. And listen, that's impressive. Out of the 3 classifications, girls and boys, half of the state championship games had a representative from this county. And I just think that goes miles for talking about how good the sports culture is here. Just showing it that, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. These kids have been, talented and playing together since the middle school days and even before then. So we'll jump into a little bit high school. We got some final district standings. First for District 9 AA. This is the district that features Loretto and Summertown. On the girls' side, taking first place, Cascade, Lady Champions, 21-6 overall in the regular season, 7-1 in district play. The Loretto Lady Mustangs finished second, going 15-10 overall on the season, 6-2 in district play. Community, the Lady Vi Queens finished third in district with a 14-12 overall record, 4-4 in district play. The Summertown Lady Eagles finished fourth in district play, a 15-10 overall record, 3-5 in district play. And then the Lady Rockets of Forest finished fifth with a 15-12 overall record and an 0-8 record in district play. On the boys' side of things, Loretto, the Mustangs, took the district once again, going 14-9 on the season, 7-1 in district play. The Summertown Eagles finished second, 19-5 on the season, 6-2 district record. Cascade finishing third, 15-11 overall, 4-4 in district play. Community, 15-10 overall with a 3-5 district record, and then Forest, 6-20 with an 0-8 district record. Now on to the AAA side of things with the Lawrence County Wildcats, District 12. So on the girls' side of things, finishing first will be the Tullahoma Lady Wildcats, 17-9 overall, a 6-2 district record. And just behind them, Franklin County, the Lady Rebels, finishing second with a 17-10 overall record, a 6-2 district record. And then the Lady Cats from Lawrence County will be in third place, 13-12 overall, 4-4 overall in district play. Fourth place, the Giles County Lady Bobcats at 12-9 and 4-4 overall. And then in fifth place, the Marshall County Lady Tigers, 6-17 on the season, 0-8 in district play. And then on the boys' side of things, the Tullahoma Wildcats, 21-4 in first place with an 8-0 district record. Giles County in second place, 14-10 overall, 6-2 in district. Third place, Marshall County, 13-10 overall with a 3-5 record. And fourth place, Franklin County with a 9-19 record, 2-6 in district play. And then finishing fifth, Lawrence County, 3-21 with a 1-7 district record. So, funny enough, both of these districts have 5 teams, so Monday and Tuesday there have been play-in games to determine who the 4th seed is. So so last night we had actually the game going on right over here to my right. We had the 5th seed Forest girls do battle with Summertown last night, and listen, just I've probably bragged on this district on the girls' side a billion times, and people that listen to the Loretto games are probably tired of me talking about it, but this district is incredibly difficult on the girls' side of things. I mean, reading the records of some last place teams, the Lady Rockets are 15-12, 0-8 in district play. They're 15-4 outside of the district and weren't able to win a district game, and that's unfortunate. So they played at Summertown last night. Summertown, the Lady Eagles, able to come away victorious, 43-34. Forest was going to be a good defensive team, and tried all they could to shut down Summertown. And their first couple of matchups with the Lady Eagles were relatively close. The game at Forest to start district play was a 51-43 game, and then the game that was the game at Summertown. The game at Forest, 56-32. The Lady Eagles were on a big roll there, but listen, that was a big win for Summertown. They've been on a bit of a struggle. They started really good, 2-0 in the district. We're looking fine, and then ran into Loretto, ran into Cascade, and took a couple of tough losses there. We're able to get back on the winning side of things against Forest, and will now advance to play against Cascade. We'll go over those games a little bit later on this week. On the boys' side of things, that game will be tonight for District 9. Number 5 Forest will be playing at number 4 Community. That game at 6 p.m. tonight, and I believe there are some ways to watch that one. So it should be a good game. Community has been very dangerous as of late, and I'll talk about them in a minute as we continue to go over this district standings. Tonight, we got a game on the X Sports Network. We will have the number 5 seed Lawrence County as they go on the road to face number 4 Franklin County. That game in Winchester tonight. 6 p.m. tip-off. We'll have it here on the X Sports Network. And, folks, this is my favorite time of the year. Basketball tournament time in high school. Because right now, things look bleak for some teams. There are a lot of fifth-place teams right now, at least on the boys' side. Most of the girls' games were taken care of last night. But there are a lot of fifth-place teams on the boys' side of things that the regular season didn't go well. It just didn't. And whether it was injuries, whether it was bad mojo, this, that, and the other, bad luck, it happens. Well, now it's tournament time. Nothing that happens in the season really up to this point matters whatsoever. None of it. Throw it all out. Because one of these teams is going to win and going to advance, and they're going to have a tall task in front of them. But you win this game, and this is me talking to Lawrence County boys, to Franklin County's boys, to Forest boys, to Community's boys. You win this game, you get to go to the region tournament next week. That's just giving your team more mojo, more juice. You win 2 games, you go to the district championship, you get to host a region game in your own gym. Because at that point, it doesn't matter if you're 3-21. You win the next 3 games, you're 6-21, you're district champ, you get to host. Or if you're district runner-up, you get to host a game at home because you did so well in the district tournament. So you got a lot to play for. Like I said, the regular season may not have gone well, but at this point, you got 1-game seasons. They're the rest of the year. But that's what makes it fun, because you're going to see players do stuff that you've never seen before. Try stuff that maybe you didn't know they could do. And that's what makes this so much fun. Again, tonight's games, we will have number 5 Forest at number 4 Community. That game will be at 6 p.m. I'm pretty sure there is a YouTube channel that you'll be able to watch that game on. But I think the better game tonight is going to be in Winchester. You got Lawrence County at Franklin County, 2 teams that split in the regular season, fighting for a chance to try to take down the number 1 seed Tullahoma later this week. Listen, I think it's going to be a great game. Looking at last night, though, on the girls' side of things in 12 AAA for the 4-5 game. I'll pull that up real quick. It was Giles County taking down Marshall County in that game 46-34. So Giles County will advance to play Tullahoma, and that will be the season for the Marshall County Lady Tigers. So after tonight, folks, there's going to be 64 teams, girls and boys, all 4 classifications, at least 1 through 4A. I know the private school classifications will have their tournaments are a little bit ahead, so they will have much less teams by now. But 1 through 4A, there's going to be 64 teams left after tonight, and that's when the real tournament will begin. We'll go over tournament matchups real quick. So first, we'll look at District 9 AA on the girls' side of things. So we had Summertown take down Forest last night. So Summertown Cascade, that game will be Thursday at Cascade at 6 p.m. We will have that game on the X Sports Network. Cascade, the home team, obviously being the number 1 seed on the scoreboard as well as in person. And then following that, it's at 7:30, but pretty much 15 minutes following the conclusion of Summertown and Cascade. With how their matchups have gone this year, that will be a very good game. You get Loretto against Community at 7:30. Winners of those games will advance to Saturday's championship game at 6. The losers will advance to Saturday's third-place game at 3. So, again, it's a double elimination tournament. Now, if you lose, you can't win first place overall, but you're going to get seeding. And if you win that first game, you get to host a region tournament game. And listen, as tough as this district is, winning the first-round game is going to be difficult. For both, Summertown and Loretto for the first time in what feels like a while on the girls' side of things. Now, on the boys' side of things, we got Community and Forest doing battle tonight. The winner will take on Loretto. That game will be Friday at Cascade at 6 p.m. We'll have it on the X Sports Network. After that, we will have Summertown and Cascade, the 2-seed Eagles, the 3-seed champions. That will be the nightcap on Friday night at 7:30. That game will also be on the X Sports Network, and the winners of that game will advance to Saturday's championship game at 7:30. The losers will advance to the 4:30 consolation third-place game. And listen, folks, on the boys' side, I think it's just as difficult because you look, Loretto, 7-1 overall in the district. Who's their one loss to? Well, a team that they could play in the 4 seed, that Community team. Community gave Loretto some fits. But then there's, Summertown didn't lose a district game to a team not named Loretto. So, listen, ton of great storylines, ton of fun. And we'll have, I believe, every game in that, at least, we'll have most of the games from that district here on the X Sports Network. Now on the AAA side of things, on the girls' side, number 1 Tullahoma will do battle with Giles County. That will be Friday at 4 p.m. at Tullahoma. Franklin County will play against Lawrence County. That will be at Tullahoma at 7 p.m. on Friday to advance to Monday's championship game at 7:30. The consolation games will be Monday at 6 as we look for let me pull up the boys' side of things in that. Just to make sure we get all these times and dates and locations right. There we go. On the boys' side of things, you will have number 1 Tullahoma do battle with the winner of the Franklin County-Lawrence County game tonight. That one will be at 5:30 p.m. on Friday. And then you'll have number 2 Giles County against number 3 Marshall County. That one Friday at Tullahoma, 8:30 tip-off time. Championship will be Tuesday at 7:30 at Tullahoma, with the third-place consolation game being Tuesday at 6 p.m. at Tullahoma. So a little bit different layout. No games on over the weekend, but you will have games on Friday and then on Tuesday if for the 4 teams that make it into that bracket. And again, Lawrence County and Franklin County tonight on the X Sports Network for that play-in game. And folks, it's going to be a ton of fun. All of these districts have been super competitive all year. I mean, you can see I think the only undefeated team in either district was Tullahoma's men's team being 8-0 in district. But you look, there was a lot of 7-1s. I mean, you look at Lawrence County's girls district, there's 2 6-2s, 2 4-4s. I mean, it's really anybody's game at this point. Now, on Lawrence County's boys side of things, Tullahoma definitely is kind of the one big glaring outlier, so to speak. But listen, David can topple Goliath. I mean, it's very possible. Double A girls side of things, interesting storylines. I mean, you look at Cascade; they're 21-6, the top 5 team in Double A. Have a Miss Basketball finalist, Keegan Young. She just became the school's all-time leading scorer in girls basketball against Summertown on Friday. And their one loss to the third place team, Community, who has recently become a thorn in everybody's side. The Lady Mustangs, they're one kind of trip up that they can't get over. They have not been able to take down Community yet, or Cascade yet. They're 2 losses to Cascade. On the boys' side, you get a 1-versus-4 game that was a regular season split, and a 2-versus-3 game that was very good competition throughout the year. So I think you're going to get a ton of great action all throughout the week. We got games tonight. We've got games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday potentially. So it will be a ton of fun. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to look at college sports. We had a great weekend, again, like I said, of college basketball. We had opening weekend of college baseball. We have some fun news in college softball, and even some big games in women's college basketball. That will be when we return on the Mark My Words College Sports Show.
Banking made simple and convenient. At Builtwell Bank, we're here for you. Whether you're making a milestone purchase or saving for retirement, our dedicated financial team will walk with you every step of the way because we care. From personal banking accounts to making sure your business and commercial needs are met, we'll make sure you have a dedicated Builtwell banker that understands your unique needs and goals. Serving Lawrenceburg and Summertown. Come see us today. Member FDIC.
At C&B Linen, fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you. Because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen. Because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
Got a dent, a ding, a scratch, or a bent fender? Major or minor, Car Country Collision Center in Leoma can fix you up. Car Country works with all insurance carriers, gives free estimates, can work on foreign and domestic vehicles, and has experience you can trust. They've been in business since 1990. Unfortunately, accidents happen, but you can get your car back on the road with as little hassle as possible with the help of Car Country. Call 931-852-4708 or stop by at 2567 Highway 43 South in Leoma.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Mark My Words College Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. I'm your host, Michael Marks, and now let's hop into the college sports. We have a ton to get into because, well, we had opening weekend in college baseball. We had some big college softball tournaments, college basketball. It's the first week after the Super Bowl, so it was really their first weekend to kind of have the front and center stage, so to speak. So we'll jump right into some of the great action that we had over the weekend. If I can work the calendar right. So let's start with Saturday's action. First in the ACC, we have number 15 Virginia over Ohio State 70-66. Louisville over Baylor 82-71. And I tell you, Michael Brown has turned into a scoring monster since he has come back from injury. 29 points against Baylor in that one. Javon Hadley with 20. Ryan Conwell with 14 on a poor shooting night for him. But hey, listen, Louisville putting up some points. Miami gets a win over NC State 77-76. Syracuse, 1 point win over SMU, 79-78. So maybe some things are starting to work out there, but it seems like maybe too far gone. Number 4, Duke over Clemson, 67-54. Bit of an ugly defensive game, but Cam Boozer, Isaiah Evans did their thing, and the Blue Devils look really, really tough. Now on over to the Big 12, where we had some huge matchups throughout the week. Number 1 Arizona falls once again to number 16 Texas Tech, 78-75 in overtime. And I'll tell you, Texas Tech has quite literally the most impressive resume, maybe in the country. A 4-point loss to Illinois. We know how good Illinois is. Kind of got your butt spanked by Purdue. That's definitely a bit of a bad look. But you have a good win over LSU, a tough, close loss to Arkansas, wins over Duke. You have wins over Houston, BYU, Arizona. But then you have, lost to Kansas, lost to UCF, a loss to Houston. But I would say this team doesn't have a bad loss. That UCF loss definitely doesn't look great, but you take that away. This team does not have a bad loss, and they continue to stack up big wins. Top in 31-13 in 44 minutes. Him, Atwell, and Anderson played dang near the entire game. Anderson, 19 points, 8 assists for him, and that was a big win over the Wildcats. In Arizona, you're starting to see some of the youth show. Bradley, Krivas, Kerchenkov, Burries, all did their thing, but, Pete only played 11 minutes, kind of dealing with an injury. Awaka was great, but if Tobe Awaka is your leading scorer and you're Arizona, you're going to be struggling. And that's nothing against Awaka. He's a great basketball player, but not a leading scorer for the number 1 team in the country caliber kind of guy. BYU is starting to linger a little bit. Now that is mostly due to Richie Saunders, who has gone down with a torn ACL. Really unfortunate for him. Really unfortunate for BYU because this team was just getting to you could see that they were starting to fall off a little bit. Went on a 4-game skid, but went over Baylor. Overtime went over Colorado. You're hoping they can get things right. And then at the start of that Colorado game, Richie Saunders goes down. You lose your second best scorer, and now Rob Wright is taking over on the scoring end. AJ DeMonta has been great, but this went from a team with 3 players to a team with 2, and you can't win with 2 in March. Houston, a 78-64 win over Kansas State. PJ Haggerty did his thing with 23 points, but if you got Emmanuel Sharp shooting as well as he's been shooting the ball lately, good luck. Kingston Flemings, Marlos Uzan, 12 points for them each, and a great win for the Cougs. Now, Kansas, really difficult how to judge this team because on Monday or last week, they had a 4-point win over the number 1 team in the country. And then they travel to the number 5 team in the country later that week and lose by 18. And hint, they jumped up in the top 25 rankings. I don't make those, though. Don't really read them either. Darren Peterson played 23 minutes again. Looked subpar at best in this game for when he was out there. And listen, this team without him, if Trey White's not playing good, if Melvin Council's not getting his stuff to hit, I think Kansas is very, very overrated. And I think them going up in the polls versus some of the teams that moved down or stayed the same, it's kind of like the SEC in football. Their ratings are being inflated by each other. You got the number 5, the number 9, the number 3, the number 1, the number 16, and they're all playing each other. So it's like, oh, well, how do you move Kansas down? They beat the number 1 team in the country. Well, they lost to the number 5 team in the country by 18. That's a 20-point loss. That means that team was almost 10 possessions better than you. And by the way, Iowa State, Momcilovic for them, I'm going to look up his numbers just to make sure I'm right on this. But he is putting up like some out of this world. Let me make sure. So on the year, averaging 18 points, 3 boards, 53% field goal shooting, and this is a guy that shoots nothing but threes, really. On the season, do we have a composite? So this season alone, 51% from 3, and he's taking 7 a game. I mean, that's absurd. He's making almost 4 threes a game. Yeah, good luck stopping that, because if that kid gets on a heater, you're done. Simple as that. So we'll stay in the Big 12. TCU 95, Oklahoma State 92 in overtime. And now on over to the Big East, where we're starting to get a little more competition. UConn, a close win over Georgetown. Xavier over Marquette, who is Marquette's kind of a sad story. Shaka Smart, is, I don't know what most people's opinions are on him as a head coach, because he is a great head coach. I mean, I don't think that's anybody's thinking he's not, but kind of the Dabo Swinney of men's basketball, in the sense that he doesn't want to delve into the transfer portal. And this is the guy that was a assistant for Billy Donovan at Florida around the time they were winning championships, was the guy that led VCU in that incredible run, was at Texas forever, was at Marquette, has been at Marquette since 2021. But I digress. Has been reluctant to go into the transfer portal. I think it's the last Division I school to not take somebody from the portal up to this point, and it's really hurt Marquette this year, because I mean, they just don't have any. It's crazy because they don't have any continuity. There's not one player that they can count on that they have actually developed. I mean, Parham's all right. James has been pretty good, but you got 2 guys in a tough league where you're going to need some dudes to win some games. St. John's over Providence 79-69. He had a huge fight in that one. 7 guys got ejected. I think 6 were in a fight. One was a whistle later that probably had something to do with what went on earlier, but I mean, that was a definitely a very big scrap, but good to show that there's still a little bit of not sure which way to put this, but there's still a little bit of bitterness and some spite in the Big East because, I talked about it with the yesterday. We talked about it with the NBA and the All-Star game and how it doesn't feel like much because the players are buddy, and they're all best friends off the court. Now, given when what happens in that Providence St. John's games happens, there's going to be a fight. You don't clothesline somebody in the air. But good to show that somebody's got a little bit of bite left in them. I think it makes the conference that much better because you got Georgetown taking UConn to the wire. You got Providence and St. John's throwing down in Providence. I mean, Big East is getting pretty interesting. I will say that. On to the Big Ten, Washington over Minnesota. Purdue over Iowa. Seems like Purdue's starting to get back on track, 21-4. The shooting's not there yet. The pace of play is really slow, but they're just wearing teams out. And when you play Iowa, the pace of play is going to be slow. Michigan's back to beating everybody by 30 again. Nebraska, a nice 20-point win over Northwestern. We did get a new AP poll on Monday, so we will take a quick look at that. Because definitely have some thoughts. But let's look at it. So back in at number 25, Alabama, also jumping in the rankings. At number 24, Wisconsin. BYU down to number 23. And look, at this point, I get they won back-to-back games last week, but you lost your best player and you lost, I think it's 5 out of your last 8. I'm not sure if BYU is a top 25 team. Miami of Ohio, they're going to keep jumping as long as they keep winning. As soon as they lose, their season's over. It sucks to be in their position because right now they are playing pretty much a one-game tournament the rest of the season because as soon as they lose, they're done. Unless they obviously are able to win the MAC championship, then you get the automatic bid. But what if they don't win? And they go 32-1, 33-1? Not sure. Louisville, in there at 19-6. Again, I think that's a team benefiting playing off in a terrible conference. Wins over Baylor and NC State. That looks like a NIT first-round game. 2 wins before that, Wake and Notre Dame, who will not make the tournament. Neither one of them. Arkansas in at 19-6. It's kind of weird to judge Arkansas because I don't really know how to, because they have some really good wins, but also some really, really confusing losses. But I will say, as a whole, have been playing much better lately. Got a good win over Auburn on Saturday. That should help them. But hey, big game tomorrow night against Alabama. Surprisingly, a ranked-on-ranked matchup. 2 teams that are, I would say, fringe top 25. Vanderbilt in at number 19. Kind of in the same vein as BYU. They've been struggling lately. Went 2-0 this week. Got two wins at Auburn at home against A&M, who's started to slide a little bit, but that's still a very good team. St. Louis still at 18. St. John still at 17. Again, I don't know if either of those teams did anything too much to. St. Louis beating the crap out of everybody in the A-10. St. John's did get that win against UConn last Friday, but wins this week against Xavier and Providence really aren't going to jump you much. North Carolina and Michigan State each down 5 spots as they've started to struggle again and look more human. And look, North Carolina, they got the win over Duke. That's what they wanted, but they're going to struggle as long as Caleb Wilson's out. They've been bitten with the injury bug terribly. Seth Trimble was out for a while. Now Wilson's got the hand injury. It's been difficult, but it's college basketball. It's going to happen. Michigan State has really taken a step down as of late, and I don't know if it's payback for Jeremy Fierce tripping everybody. I mean, he's still putting up gaudy numbers. I mean, he's averaging 16 points and 10 assists a game. That's absurd. But the team, listen, the defense is not there. You let Wisconsin put up 50 points in the first half on you, you're cooked. Now, listen, don't take this as Wisconsin as nobody, because John Blackwell and Nick Boyd are a outstanding scoring duo. I know Boyd's top 25 in the country in scoring. I would assume Blackwell's probably top 50. That's 2 guys that can put a lot of points up. And if you're not all there defensively on them, Blackwell's a shifty 6'4" guard, Boyd 6'3". If you don't have somebody on them, it's going to be a long night. And we've seen Wisconsin kind of I would say almost in a similar vein of Texas Tech, has some impressive wins on the season. They were the team that finally took down Michigan. They almost beat Purdue. But then they have confusing losses like, home against USC. They beat Illinois last Tuesday. That's a really good week for Wisconsin, and that's kind of why they jumped back in the top 25. So not a terrible loss for Michigan State, but they definitely needed to take a step back. Number 14, Virginia. Number 13, Texas Tech. Talked about them. Florida, number 12. They look like the best team in the SEC. I don't think there's only room for 4 SEC teams in the top 25. But you got Tennessee and Kentucky just on the outside looking in. Gonzaga still in there at 25-2. That one loss to Portland is really hurting their resume. Have looked better since then. Got a nice win over Santa Clara on Saturday. The number, I believe that's the second or third place team in the West Coast Conference, right in there with St. Mary's. Illinois at number 10. They've kind of faltered this week. 1 win, 1 loss. But they did get back on track Sunday against Indiana, a 20-point win against Indiana, where you held Indiana to 51 points. Your defense is good. David Merkovich puts up 25-7. Keith Wagler's been a bit shaky, I guess, as of late. He had the 46-point game, 22, 28, 13, 16, 34, 18. Shooting numbers, some of them look like spring. Some of them look like spring tour dates, and some of them look like fall tour dates. If we can get more of the 8 for 17s and less of the 2 for 16s, Illinois is going to be as dangerous as anybody in the country because they're a big physical team. Inside the top 10 now at number 9, Nebraska. Listen, had a tough week, didn't let it turn into 2 tough weeks. Kansas, the next 6-loss team is Florida, and I'd almost guarantee a Florida win over Kansas right now. Just my thoughts, because Darren Peterson is going to play the first half. He's going to sit the second half, and then those Florida guards are going to eat the rest of Kansas to pieces. Kansas, they're known for their big men. Well, Flory Badunga is not enough. And Bryson Tiller, you think they're going to be able to hold Ruben Chinyelu and Alex Condon? And then Micah Hanglockton comes off the bench at 7'2". I'm sorry. I think that Kansas gets a bit of the blue blood treatment, worse than anybody else, because North Carolina is quite literally has a better record than them and is 10 spots or 8 spots lower. Now, that game was played this season, if you remember. It was back in November. It was very early in the season, but North Carolina won that game by 15 points. Rankings mean nothing. Purdue in at number 7. The highest-ranked 4-loss team, but you look at those 4 losses, they're the good teams. An early season loss to... actually, when did they suffer their first loss? Oh, yeah, it was that Iowa State drubbing. But really, other than that, have looked good. Don't have any too questionable losses. You have the loss to UCLA, the loss to Illinois, the loss to Indiana right after that. You have a rough stretch, but they bounced back from that really well. And, have won 4 in a row. And they have the number 1 team in the country tonight. We'll get to that one in a jiffy. The rest of it's relatively the same. Iowa State at 6. UConn at 5. Arizona dropped all the way to 4. Duke at 3. Houston at 2. And Michigan at number 1, back at the top spot. The only 1-loss team other than St. Louis or the unbeaten Miami of Ohio, but those teams aren't gonna be number 1. Listen, I think the AP voters do the best they can with what they're given, but I think they bloated the Big 12 a bit too much. Because listen, BYU is not a top 25 team. They have the number 1 player in the country, and they were given a very low number at the beginning of the season because of it. But go look at the SEC standings. Last year they had 14 teams make the tournament. Now only 4 are ranked. Given the SEC needs to play a lot better. Their top team is 10-2, their bottom is 2-10, and it's a lot of close numbers in the middle because they've been beating up on each other. Quite literally, third place in the SEC right now is 8-4. you go down to 12th place and it's 4-8. I mean, it is quite literally just mirror images of each other, and it doesn't get any easier this week. And we'll look at some of these SEC matchups coming on here in the middle of the week. Just any of the big ones going on here in the middle of the week. So we got Michigan and Purdue tonight, 5:30 on Peacock. Unfortunately not televised, but I feel like most people have a Peacock subscription, especially right now because of the Olympics. Take a break from the Olympics because that is premier Big Ten basketball. You're going to have big men, back to the basketball. You're going to have guards that like to swing it around. You get Louisville and SMU on ESPN2, Miami, Ohio, UMass at 6 on ESPN+, North Carolina State, that at 6 on ESPN, at 6 o'clock on ESPN+, St. Louis, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Florida, at 6 on the SEC Network, 7:30 on Peacock, UCLA at Michigan State, Wisconsin at Ohio State, 7:30 on FS1, at 8 on the Big Ten Network, number 9 Nebraska at Iowa, and then to close out the night on ESPN2, Texas Tech at Arizona State. Any real big ones to keep an eye on? I would say no. In the ACC, maybe North Carolina State. I just know those two teams don't like each other very much. In the Big 12, not much really to worry about. If you're a Big 12 fan, maybe take the night off unless your team's playing. The Big East, Xavier's down, so I'm not sure if the game with them and Villanova is going to be too great. But I will tell you, in the Big Ten, you got a couple of good games. Michigan, Purdue is going to be good. Nebraska, Iowa is going to be a fun one. Definitely want to keep an eye on that. And then in the SEC, you've got South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky at 8 on ESPN. That's going to be a good one. Feels like Georgia always gives Kentucky problems in a row. LSU and Texas at 8 on the SEC Network. That could be fun. LSU gave Tennessee lots of problems in Knoxville this weekend. Texas looks a lot better right now at 16-9 overall. Let's jump into some college baseball because, we had opening weekend on Friday. I could sit here and talk about college baseball for quite literally hours. Not going to. We'll do a slight update just elsewhere in the world of sports. So Trinidad Chambliss has been granted its preliminary injunction and will be eligible for Ole Miss in 2026. Still kind of out on Joey Aguilar. The judge in that case said he wasn't going to make a decision that Friday. I think today or tomorrow will probably be the day we hear. What else? We've got a strange one. The MAC, the conference that has all the Midwest teams and all the directional Michigans and Miami and Ohio and they've added Sacramento State as a football-only member. I believe there's no media deal that goes along with it for Sacramento State. They'll pay for their other teams' travels. It just seems like a way for Sacramento State to lose some money, but why would you want to do that? From over the weekend, Western Carolina quarterback Taron Dickens has signed with North Carolina. The transfer quarterback didn't work out last year for North Carolina, but this is a kid that started off a game. I'm pretty sure he went 46 of 46 to start a game this year. He is... it's kind of tough to tell because he was the best quarterback in the SoCon. 3,500 yards, 38 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, an 80% completion percentage. But is that going to transfer to the ACC? We've got some college baseball rankings after the opening weekend, but before that, we'll take a look at some of the scores and also some news from yesterday. Kansas State parted ways with head coach Jerome Tang. It opens up a hot board for Kansas State now. And listen, college baseball is going to be a fun one this year. If you learned anything from opening weekend, there's a lot going on. Also, Michigan has parted ways with football general manager Sean McGee. There were recent videos going around over the past weekend and past week of some Michigan players hotboxing a locker. And I don't know if they went out on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it was, but they were out and they were made quite public on many social media platforms. And obviously that's not a good look. especially for a new head coach that was trying to come in and change things. So I'm not sure if this has anything to do with that, but I would assume it's probably got something a little bit to do with that. But a school like Michigan's going to have somebody lined up to fill in that very nicely. So, opening weekend baseball. It was a blast. I mean, there's no other way around it. We got a new D1 baseball rankings. Vandy drops out. Oklahoma in for the SEC. Vandy, tough weekend. I'll just look at some scores from the weekend. And we've also got some baseball today, midweek baseball. But we will go to scores from Friday. We had games early in the AM. We had some games going on in Puerto Rico. We had Houston take down number 21 Wake 8-2. Louisville, tough weekend with Michigan State. Dropped the first two in that one. LSU was down early, 5-1 to Milwaukee. Where he was able to get that back on track. North Carolina went over Indiana. Georgia got a win over Wright State. Kentucky over UNC Greensboro. Clemson over Army. Michigan looking good over Oregon State. No real big upsets. Coastal Carolina was able to come back and beat Fairfield. Tennessee over Nichols. Vandy had a costly late innings error. Funny enough, I believe it was the same guy that hit the 3 home runs in that game. So, kind of a mixed bag, so to speak. UAB getting an extra innings win at Florida. UC Santa Barbara getting the win on the weekend against Southern Miss. Looking at some other big ones, at least for teams in action tonight. Tennessee went 3-0, obviously, against Nicholls State. They take on UNC Asheville tonight. Well, this afternoon at 3. Blaine Brown, the guy that hit 3 home runs, on the mound for the Vols. Number 1, UCLA taking on Tulane. Number 1 team in the country dropped the game in opening weekend, but they're still the top dog as of now. You got Kentucky against Morehead State. Coastal went 3-0 on the weekend. They'll take on College of Charleston. Louisville went 1-2, dropped all the way down to 15. They got Xavier in the midweek. North Carolina, nice weekend. They're looking to take down Richmond. Wake Forest went 2-1 on the weekend. Were able to win the next 2. A big one going down at the Dude in Starkville. You got Troy, who had a rough opening weekend, going to 1-2. They're taking on Mississippi State. And you can see that record and be like, oh, Troy had a bad weekend. But when it comes to mid-major baseball, Troy's up there with as good as it gets. They're up there with the Southern Miss. I mean, just the whole Sun Belt is incredible in baseball. Charlotte and Clemson, that game at Clemson tonight at 3. UCF and Miami doing battle, 2 undefeated teams. Someone's going to have to lose one there. Georgia Tech against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern had a rough opening weekend, but that's still a very good team in the Sun Belt. Florida looking to get back on the right track against Stetson. Went 2-1 on the opening weekend, and all things considered, I think Florida looked great. Lamar travels to Texas at 6, and then Texas A&M hosts Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Auburn hosts Cincinnati. Southern Miss travels to southeastern Louisiana, and then UT Arlington travels to number 7 TCU, who went 2-1 on the weekend. A lot of fun baseball. I'm not really sure if there's any crazy names to know as of now. I mean, you had the big weekend from obviously from Blaine Brown for Tennessee, hits 3 home runs. Southern Miss and UC Santa Barbara look like the 2 best mid-majors in the country after the first weekend, behind Coastal Carolina, obviously. A lot of teams still undefeated. I'd say probably the biggest story, though, early in the season, Oklahoma, man. I mean, they went to the Shriners Classic, and as the kids say, put B2A. 10-3 win over Texas Tech, who is a top 10 team. 10-1 over Oklahoma State, who is a baseball school, and 12-2 over TCU, who, I mean, everybody was talking about how good TCU was in the preseason. And Boomer Sooner. I mean, nobody knew what to think of Oklahoma coming into the year, and they taught you real quick. Michigan had a big sweep out on the weekend with wins over Oregon State, Stanford, and Arizona. So they did well. UC San Diego, again, was the team that took down UCLA. That's a team that can cause people problems. Missouri took down Mount St. Mary's after Mount St. Mary's had already beaten Missouri. I believe that was game 2 or game 3. That would be game 3. They played on Sunday. Well, Missouri won 34-3. So, game 1 took them a little bit to get heated up, but it seems like Missouri is getting ready well for the SEC. Arkansas looks very good again. LSU looks fun again. Tennessee's hitting a bunch of home runs and striking everybody out again. It's going to take us a while to kind of figure some things out. We're going to have big, those big classic tournaments going on all over the next month of the season, pretty much, really until conference play gets started. We had some D1 softball going on over the weekend. We had the Shriners Children's Classic going on down there in Clearwater. And listen, they had the best teams in the country down there, and they had a bunch of them. And we have a new number 1 team in the country. So these rankings came out, I believe, yesterday. But there's a new top dog. Well, if the NCAA website will load. There we go. And that is an old ranking. I believe it is this one. Here we go. Finally found it. The new number 1 team in college softball, the Lady Vols. And man, what a weekend they had. I mean, they've played number 5 Oregon, number 6, I believe, number 8. So just over this weekend, played number 8 Nebraska, beat them. Run-ruled FAU, run-ruled UCLA, who is number 7, I believe, and the number 6 Florida State the next morning, 9-1. Kind of tosses them to the side. So you got the Lady Vols at 10-0, and they've been kicking everybody's butt. Texas falls to 2. Number 1, Texas Tech, they fell to number 3. Oklahoma stays at 4. Florida at 5. Nebraska, actually, with a 6-4 record, rose. Went 3-2 on the week, rose to from number 8 to number 6. Arkansas up 2 spots to number 7. Florida State drops 2 spots to number 8. Alabama up a spot to 9. Stanford in the 10th spot. Georgia at 11. UCLA down a couple spots to number 12. A&M stays put at 13. Mississippi State jumps up a couple spots, had a 6-0 week. Arizona up to 15. Oregon stays at 16. Duke up to 18. Oklahoma State rises from 24 to 18. South Carolina had a great week, went 4-0. They're up to number 19. LSU struggled, went 1-4. They fall all the way from 12 to 20. Arizona State jumping in the rankings as well as UCF. But Virginia Tech, Virginia, and Washington all fell. Listen, I think across the board we got some great college softball because, coming into the season, we knew Texas Tech were going to be good. That was your national championship game last year. Oklahoma, it's Oklahoma. They're going to be good. And then Tennessee comes out of nowhere, and you knew that Carlin Pickens was going to be one of the best pitchers in the country, but the bats have woken up. And if those can stay awake for most of the season, good luck anybody else. And folks, I believe that actually covers it all. I mean, we can take a look at some of the baseball games coming up, or basketball games, I meant, coming up a little bit later this week because we do have Tuesday and Wednesday games. So we'll pull up some college basketball, see what we got coming up on a Wednesday night because that should be there should be some great action on Wednesday. There always is. And Wednesday's kind of become the new Monday, so to speak, in college basketball. Not much going on in the ACC. They still kind of control early in the week as well as the Big 12. But you do got BYU at Arizona. That one at 8 p.m. on ESPN. And Kansas at Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State's a team that could give Kansas some problems. That one will be at 8 o'clock on Peacock. As we jump on over to the Big 10, no big ranked-on-ranked matchups, but Illinois is taking a trip out west to USC. That game will be on at 9 on the Big Ten Network tomorrow again. And then in the SEC, we've got Oklahoma at Tennessee at 6. That game on ESPN2. Arkansas at Alabama, 6 o'clock on ESPN, and then the 6 o'clock game on the SEC Network, Ole Miss at Texas A&M. The 2 8 o'clock games, Auburn, Mississippi State, that one on ESPN2, and then Vandy at Missouri to close things out on the SEC Network. So that will do it for this Tuesday edition of the Mark My Words College Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. We will be back one more time later this week. We'll talk about the weekend's college basketball. We'll talk about some baseball coming up over the weekend. That and more will be when we return next time. So that will do it for this episode. We will see y'all next time here on the X Sports Network.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.